This is our planet. You may notice that it has quite a lot of blue stuff on it, and that's because Earth is 71% covered in water. All life initially came from water, so it's no doubt that the ocean is home to some of the most complex and diverse ecosystems in the world. One of these ecosystems is called the coral reef. Here, off the coast of the tropics, where lots of light can still penetrate and waters are a warm 25 degrees, this diverse hub of life is teeming with plants, animals, and other aquatic sea life. If you look closer, you'll notice the coral on the bottom of the seabed. This coral is actually an animal, and it's one of the most integral species in the world. The coral serves a ton of purposes, or ecosystem services, from protecting coastal areas from storms, supporting the fishing industry, and of course, providing a habitat for all sorts of animals and aquatic sea life. The coral reefs grow where conditions are best. Here, in the warmer waters located within 30 degrees of the equator, the water is clear and well oxygenated, and salinity is ideal. The current helps bring nutrients for the coral to eat and removes waste. Coral has been evolving for millions of years and has cultivated thousands of relationships with different aquatic species. One of the most iconic species interactions coral has is with a unicellular algae called zooxanthellae, which is a special sort of algae that helps coral get the energy it needs. Crazy stuff, I know, but let me explain. See, coral has a hard shell made of calcium carbonate, which protects them from the ocean elements. It's especially important for them since they aren't super mobile creatures. But producing the shell and performing other processes takes a lot of energy, and while coral can eat nutrients and animals from the sea, being stationary means it can't just walk to the store and get more resources. This is where the zooxanthellae becomes their best friend. Zooxanthellae are photosynthetic algae, which means they can use photosynthesis to use energy from the sun to turn carbon dioxide and water into sugars and protein. The zooxanthellae live in coral's tissue, which can then use these essential building blocks to create calcium carbonate, as well as proteins, fats, and carbohydrates that support their growth, reproduction, and survival. In return, the zooxanthellae get protection and nutrients from the ammonia that corals secrete. This ammonia stimulates the algae to keep on photosynthesizing, and the cycle continues. As an added bonus, they also turn the coral the pretty colors that they are. This type of relationship is called mutualism, where both species are benefiting from each other's presence and their fitness increases. Specifically, it's what's known as facultative mutualism, because they don't necessarily need each other to survive, but it certainly makes their lives easier. This interaction is just one among thousands of biotic interactions that are happening in our biosphere all the time. From mutualism, competition, parasitism, to commensalism, there are many different relationships that species and individuals can encounter in their specific environments. And for the coral, the relationship doesn't stop at just algae. It's estimated that around 25% of fish actually spend some time of their lives on coral reefs, so it's a vital organism to many aquatic species, which forms the basis for habitats, food chains, and other crucial services. The important role that coral has in the lives and life cycles of so many aquatic species makes them a keystone species. A keystone species is a species that has a disproportionately large impact on its environment relative to its abundance. For our coral, this means that they are a fundamental component of the ecosystem, and without them, the ecosystem would change drastically or even cease to exist. A coral reef without the coral could look like this, a barren and desolate seascape. And while this isn't the current state of the ocean, it very well soon may be. Unfortunately, recent human events have upset that relationship. Increased CO2 in the atmosphere caused by humans producing excessive emissions is leading to warmer ocean waters and thermal stress. This has triggered the loss of algae from coral, leaving the coral a pale white color, a process called coral bleaching, and combined with ocean acidification is a real threat to the important ecological relationships that so many depend upon coral to maintain. The interconnectedness of so many ecological relationships, including coral and algae, provide the basis for two-eyed seeing, an indigenous perspective on planetary recovery. Where we need to combine scientific efforts, so too do we need to restore our relationship with the planet and understand that we are as much a part of it as any of these ecosystems. Coming to understand the scientific reasoning behind these processes, but also how to improve our relationship with the planet is the most effective way to address these issues. Through understanding indigenous and Western perspectives of natural ecosystems, we can protect many important ecological relationships, just like the one seen between coral and zooxanthellae.